So the question comes up sometimes, why am I referred to as Uncle Scotty? The short, honest answer is I really don't know. It kind of just evolved. When you're in Metro, or especially in D-Team, but in Metro, very elite units, you have a tendency to get what we call handles. In other words, you're going to do something that's going to cause people to give you a nickname. And we could have something like Wacko. Wacko was the calmest guy in the world, but they called him Wacko because it was diametrically opposed to who he was. Another guy who was very sedate, we called him Darvon Don because it looked like he'd, basically ate a cup of Darvon before he came on duty. He was just, just always, whatever. As everybody, Moose was a guy that was short. Dusty Bottoms, or Dusty, not Dusty Bottoms necessarily, Dusty was a guy that was in SWAT, real great guy. He worked air support, but he was an F-4 Phantom pilot and was shot down. So they called him Dusty because he had to dust himself off when his F-4 crashed in Vietnam. So they're just different things. Uncle Scotty, the very first day I was in SWAT, I had won a Toughest Cop Alive contest. It was an 8 event put on in one day. You can look it up. And back now they split it into 2 days, but it was the Toughest Cop Alive. And I think there were things, there was a 3-mile run, 100-yard swim, bench press, rope climb, seated position, hands only, obstacle course, pull-ups, sit-ups, shot put, and so forth. And I had won it. I just kind of came in surfing shorts and a pair of Converse tennis sneakers and ended up winning the contest. I didn't plan on it, I just showed up and did it. So I was the Toughest Cop Alive, and this is when I was still in, at the time, B Platoon, Metro. So that was kind of what we call the TCA scholarship into SWAT back then. So, hey, Rogers walked by me at a picnic, our lieutenant, Jeff Rogers, and said, "You're in SWAT." And just didn't even break stride. He just, as he walked by, "You're in SWAT, beer in his hand." I went, "Oh, okay." So back then it was kind of on-the-job training. You still had to, earn your bones. I had still applied and everything else. Well, the very first day that I'm in SWAT happened to be training up at the academy, LAPD Academy. And I was a pretty good swimmer. And so they used me as the anchor man in our platoon. Well, we're pretty much in the lead. And, and most guys in SWAT don't really swim just because you live in Southern California. Some of these guys, it's like trying to watch a ball bearing swim. It's just pretty funny. And so I was the last man, and we're in the lead of our squad. I decided I'm going to show them, I'm going to really cinch this victory. The problem back then, they don't have any lane markers, and they had no lane markers on the bottom of the pool, and the water was colder than a witch's you-know-what. So I dove in headlong, and I'm going to do 2 laps. The unfortunate thing, the first lap was fine. The second one, I veered off, went in front of everybody, slammed into the side of the pool, and lost the contest. And of course, our squad had to buy beer for everybody. And the minute I came to the surface, somebody said, "The dumbest cop alive," and so DECA stood for many years, dumbest DCA, DECA. So you'll hear guys just pronounce DEEKA. So I think I've kind of gotten away from that, but from time to time, people will bring it up. So in terms of handles, Uncle Scotty just came about 20 years ago, and people started calling me Uncle Scotty, and kind of stuck, and I don't know. I don't really have a definitive answer as to how it came about, but it's there. And certainly couldn't be uncles to all these people that I know of, but that's how it stuck.